You're on it.
We're on it. We're on
Hi,
it.
we're
Oh my God.
live.
We're live. Okay. You guys, I am married to a Capricorn and she was in the right. I mean, I'm married to a Capricorn, but you're right. You're surrounded by Capricorns. She was in the right. I think she was in the right too. Um, your parents don't see it that way, or her or his parent TC is really upset. Well, that's because I'm sorry, and I love TC, but that's because TC is a whole man and does not understand how it feels to be a woman, to be like, or a young girl to be like, stop fucking looking at me, leave me alone. I will bet,
It's like the whole poking thing. It's just
I would
like, I'm
bet,
not touching you, and it's like,
I would
what
bet
the
the
fuck you
rest.
are.
I would bet the rest of this bag of King Palms that little boy has bothered her before, and she's already told him to knock it the fuck off. I would bet that whole bag of the rest of my King Palms. Y'all come watch the show solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, and we're on Twitch right now. I am talking to my audience over on Instagram Live as well right now for a minute, because I just found out that my niece spit in a young child's face. Okay, so these children are like 5 or 6. I feel like I want to do like a Reddit "Am I the asshole" on this, because I want some perspective. Is my niece the asshole? My niece will be 6 in January. She's a full Capricorn, and she got pulled out of school today because there was an incident between her and a boy in her class. We'll assume he's probably 5 or 6 years old as well. And she said to him at some point in the day today, stop looking at me. And he used his male privilege to continue looking at her and not listen to what she asked him to do. Now, my take on it, and like backstory on this, from my perspective, this ain't the first time. I don't know this for a fact. Like, I'm not 100% certain that this is not the first time that she's told this little boy to stop fucking with her. But I would say that I'm almost 99.98%, just to give him a little bit but like, boys don't listen, and then they mamas don't show them how to listen properly to women, and then they daddies probably don't listen either, so they get in a fine example set. And then so like she said, stop looking at me, and he did not stop looking at her, and so she spit in his face. Now then then she had to go home. She was sent home. But here's the thing. She's teaching him young. She's teaching him shit his
She
mama
didn't
didn't teach
slap
him.
him.
Yeah, she
I
could have
mean,
put hands on him. She could have been like smacked shit out of him across his face. And I am almost certain, having been a little girl before, she asked him already. She was fed up.
did the little boy get sent home too?
Did the little boy get sent home too, or he got to stay in class and get his education? I'm gonna say the same.
They
I'm gonna
couldn't
say,
just say, like,
don't spit in people's faces. Go back to class. That's how you handle it. But no, you got to send this little girl home. Now, 5 or 6, it doesn't seem like she's missing out. Oh no, he got to stay. So it's like she had her shoulder showing, right? And she had to go home and miss out on educational things like socializing properly, reading, circles. She was threatened to be suspended because of his parents, baby him, listen, I'm invested in this fully. Do you want me to go down to the school and talk to them? Because I'll come to Virginia.
I'll be like, yes, how many times? Like, what, like this little boy,
how many times has your little boy
out of her
been fucking with my daughter? That's what I fucking want to know, because we already know. I'm not saying all men or all little boys, we don't say that around here, but I mean, if the shoe fits, of course. Why were they furious? Did they fight? She said they were furious. Now, furious for what? These are 6-year-olds.
I'm furious that my daughter had to resort to spitting on your child.
Yeah, I'm furious
sorry
about that too. Like, I'm furious that my niece had to resort.
I'm going to do our intro real quick, because
it's
about that time, as if we are a few minutes into the show. You're about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with Canna Queen. That's her. And MJ, that's me. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. as you may have already noticed as you listen to this first part of the
That's
show.
a lie.
Opinions, views, and
That's a lie.
expressions may or may not be that of the hosts and their subsidiaries. If you aren't sure, don't worry, we'll tell you.
What's up, Chris?
Or you can just look at our faces. It's usually pretty apparent there.
Okay.
It's time to get this session started. Thanks for rolling up and showing up. And enjoy the show.
We got more information. Okay, so since more people are in here, I'm gonna give you all a quick backstory, and then we're gonna get. I know we're gonna get into other conversations, but I really am invested in this right now. Okay, so my niece, 5 years old, gonna be 6 next in 2 months. She got kicked out of school today. By the way, can you tell her congratulations? That's early. That's early age to get kicked out of school. But I don't think it's fair that she got kicked out of school. His parents need to teach him some accountability and how to listen. So she got kicked out of school because she told this little boy, we're going to assume he's 5 or 6 years old as well, that he needs to stop looking at her. Stop looking at me. Stop it. Okay. And he did not. And he did not. Now, the other kids in the class said that he didn't do nothing wrong, but the other kids in the class do not understand consent. And somebody needs to teach these little children what consent means. And glaring at a girl is uncomfortable. And maybe this little girl, not this little girl in particular, but you don't know what this little girl deals with at her home. And so a little boy staring at her could be traumatic for her. Not this little girl. This little girl doesn't deal with none of that shit at home. She is perfect. Anyways, she's perfect. And don't you yell at her for this. But this is not in her character to like spit on people or be like that. It's not like her to do that. So I feel like she had to tell this little child more than one time to stop looking at her. She's probably had to deal with his little ass on the playground, somebody's dusty ass little fucking son on the playground. And she was over it. Like she was fucking over it. And then she was like, you stop looking at me. And honestly, this like flashes me back to being a child. I was such an angry child in elementary school. I would have probably hit this little boy in his face. So I guess we're glad that it didn't come to physical blows, because I would have like clocked him. Like seriously, that's how mad I was in school. Like if I told you to stop fucking looking at me, you gonna stop looking at me. Did I just tell you this story recently? I feel like I just told this story recently to somebody. Maybe it was Dustin, our friend Dustin. But when I was little, my cousins came to stay with me, and one of my cousins was really homesick, and he cried and cried and cried. And I have zero patience, and I certainly had zero patience for children back then. And so as a child, I didn't even like them then. And so I told him to shut up. So I was like, shut the fuck up, like shut up. And he kept crying, and his sister was like, don't yell at him. And I was like, you shut up too. And she said, make me. And now she was sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor. And I just swung back and slapped shit out of her. She said, make me. And I did. I made the shit out of her. I just fucking pushed her, and she fell over. Her legs was still in crisscross applesauce. She was just like this. And it's hilarious. It was hilarious. She called my mama. I got in trouble. But anyway, listen, she probably told him more than once. So it's not in her character. The parents were furious that their little baby, perfect little boy got spit on, but you didn't teach him no fucking manners. You didn't teach him to leave little girls alone. Leave her alone. If she said no, if she said stop, if she said any of those things, little girls and grown women deal with y'all bullshit enough. If you're not going to leave us the fuck alone, we going to make you leave us the fuck alone. And I think that's what she did at the end of the day. So I say, don't yell at my baby. Please don't yell at my baby. Don't punish my baby. And you tell her that she has every right to not have some little dusty ass little boy having his eyes glaring over her. She don't fucking want that. Maybe the teacher should interject and put them on different sides of the room or some shit and keep that little boy away from her, because he already causes problems for her. She didn't just come up and spit on him out of the blue because he was looking at her. She was already mad at him. She was already mad at him. And then she was like, you better stop fucking looking at me. That's what fucking happened. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's how I'm gonna always tell the story for the rest of her fucking life. For the rest of her fucking life, when I tell this story about how she spit in some little dusty ass little boy's face, this is how I'm gonna tell it. Because I don't feel like it was her fault. That's right. You know what, though? You say that. She said, I told her she should have told the teacher that he didn't listen to her. But like, little kids don't know how to emote. This is making me uncomfortable. They don't know how to say that. So for her to go to the teacher and be like, he's not listening to me, the teacher's going to be like, well, he doesn't have to listen to you, you know, probably. But like, teachers really need to think outside the box when it comes to these relationships between little boys and little girls. And make sure that little boys understand that this is part of consent. You can't just be staring somebody down like that. You're going to get your ass beat, first of all, if you do that to the wrong person.
Yeah, as an adult, we don't allow it. Like,
no, as an adult, exactly. As an adult, if I say, stop looking at me, and you don't, there's going to be some fucking consequences at the end of the day. I don't know what those consequences are going to be. Maybe I end up in jail. Maybe you end up dead. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to end. But like I asked you nicely, probably already 3 or 4 times, please stop staring at me. Please leave me alone. Please walk away. Please, you know, because that's what women do. That's what we're taught to do. You're teaching her right. She stood up for herself. Maybe not in the best way, but she's only 6 years old. If she was 16, I would be like, maybe she shouldn't have spit in his face, but she's 6. She don't know. Like, they don't know how to express their emotions properly. They're running purely on edge.
She already did all the things she knew. She already did all the things she was told to do.
She did all the things she knew how to do. She exhausted all of her avenues before she spit in that little boy's face. I almost guarantee it. Yeah, I almost guarantee it. I'm gonna, you know, this is on Instagram too. So when I end this Instagram video, I'm gonna download it so you could show TC what I said. Like, literally, you don't understand what it's like to be a little girl, like to be a little girl and have little boys just bother you all the time, and nobody fucking corrects them because boys will be boys. But that leads to, like, literally, to get
that
serious,
turns into men and women.
That turns into little
those
boys.
Little ones grow up to be big ones.
Those little ones turn into adolescent ones and into grown men who still do not know how to respect women or treat women or behave around women because we didn't teach them, because we boys will be boys them when they were little, and then kicked her out of school for defending herself. So she's not getting her education today while this little boy gets to sit in class after he made her feel uncomfortable because his parents are furious that he got a little bit of spit on his face. It's not like, first of all, kids spit on each other all the time. Can we agree to that? They always got spit on their face. That's why I don't have any.
Right, but also, as an adult, don't spit on me because that will be
oh my God, that will be my Dateline episode.
Right. So, I think this can cover what is Canna Queen mad about today. This
I'm mad because they kicked my niece out of the
like we're just we are on track. We are on track for our show without show notes. Look at us, y'all.
Listen, one last thing on that. You tell that baby, keep standing up for yourself, baby. You take care of yourself. Don't even worry about it. We'll take care of the consequences for you.
We got you. We love you.
We got you. Okay. I'm going to get off of Instagram. Y'all come check us out on solo.to/cannabiscloset420. We are on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube, and we are on Twitch. Come check us out. We got lots to talk about today. We're going to hit some headlines and stuff. And thank you for letting me share this story about my baby girl. She was not wrong, though. She's not wrong. She was correct. Maybe she didn't handle it right, but that's because she don't know how. But she was correct in defending herself and standing up for herself. And I'm proud of her. I love her. You tell her I love her. Mwah. Okay. Goodbye, y'all. On Instagram. Everybody else stay here. I'm going to post this shit. Share it. Yeah. No, we sharing that. We sharing that. My baby girl was in the right. She was not in the wrong. She was in the absolute right.
This is a early education lesson, you know, like that he gonna, you know, like maybe this will be what led to her acting like that, you know, what did he do, you know, keep doing. It's always
Little boys that are raised like that end up growing up to be grown men who call women females and say they don't have no woman friends and can't figure out what's wrong with that and can't figure out why people like they don't know. They don't get it. They don't fucking understand why that's a total big fucking red flag. Just like
And you know, okay, so when we talk about a lot of the things that we talk
Jesus
about, we talk
Christ.
about trauma and where it's going to lead, you know, what these events lead to, you know, and what
Burn
could
my
be, you
eyebrows
know,
off.
like as far, you know, when as adults, you know, in this situation when you're like, when men do that and you're like, please stop because we've been through this and we're trying to be polite and you still don't listen, and yet we are, you know, put in these positions to then be called bitches and, you know, standoffish and what the fuck ever, and you know, this little boy got the early education on it, and this is how they,
And
you know,
then
we
and then
should
look
be.
how the parents reacted though. They're mad because somebody spit in their son's face, but they didn't ask what happened. Everybody's like, nothing happened. But she said what happened.
What happened before the what happened, you know, like,
She
okay, big
said
incident here, but what
right.
happened
Have y'all been paying
yesterday, the day
attention to what's going on?
before? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
you said, on the playground, outside of it.
And then he's gonna end up being a grown ass man that cusses girls out because they tell him no. Or worse. Or
So
worse.
what I would say is go find some kind of therapy if you know that you have these traumas, these things that bring you to these moments. So, you know, like, figure something out for yourself, men that, you know, don't care and wonder why women
Yeah,
act the way
like I
they
just
act.
like,
You
do
know,
you
like
even like
we're
women? Like I just like I don't understand. If you don't have a female or women friends, female friends, see, you got me going in this fucking like I'm not a science project. I'm a full adult, so please don't refer to me as female unless we're talking scientifically speaking. Like if I'm in the doctor's office, okay.
checking the box on what you're on what.
But like it really doesn't make sense to me how
Yeah.
you cannot have a friend that's the opposite sex. And then that goes into, well, then you probably, I mean, I'm gonna assume, but you probably don't have any gay friends. You probably don't have any trans friends. You probably have very few friends of
Something,
color.
and again, trauma. That person is traumatized and they don't
Yeah,
want to
it's
admit it.
generational. That's
They don't want
generational
to deal
trauma.
with it. They don't want to address it. They just want to sit where they're sitting and say, nope, if you don't like it, then you don't have to love it. And you're like, you're right, peace out. And that person's, you know, like, unfortunately there will be some you know, a woman that will fall into a trap of, you know, like,
Because
because
she's also got trauma from that. She's also experienced that trauma in a different household where a man acted like that and it was okay and it was absolutely normal. I was raised in that household where a man acted out and it was perfectly normal. It was absolutely the normal thing in my life. I didn't understand how anybody didn't have a mean dad. I didn't understand that at all. My dad was mean as fuck. Like I was scared as shit of him. I was really scared of this person. And that's what I mean too, is that this little girl, fortunately, and thank God, she has loving family around her who are not abusive in any way. Like I know this family very well. I call her my niece. I clearly know them very well. But like let's say if it was me and I'm the little girl, I grew up with male trauma in my house, a man traumatizing me in my house, and if a little boy looking at me makes me uncomfortable, that's probably a lot of where that stems from. Not to mention, like we said, there's probably there are other incidents. This wasn't the first incident. She didn't just decide today to spit on this little boy. She was over it.
yeah,
She was over it. And
yeah.
they grow into be men who cause more trauma to women, to hurt women. They are the ones we need to be protected from. And I'm going to say this to you, ladies. Listen to me and listen to me clearly. Fuck politeness. If you feel it in your gut that it don't feel right, be wrong about it. Be fucking wrong about it and apologize for it later. It doesn't fucking matter. Stay safe out there. Fuck politeness. Listen to
Yeah.
your gut. And if you're wrong, apologize for it later. But like go with your gut instinct immediately. That's why you get that feeling. That's evolutionary. That's why you get that feeling.
And men, not every woman wants you to talk to them. Just FYI, you don't need to be heard all the time.
You don't.
Um, let's I'm gonna bring this full circle and tell you so we can talk about some Vegas stuff that we didn't get to talk about. But so we are at MJ BizCon and we are driving to the convention and we've got the windows slightly cracked.
Oh my God, that guy. I almost forgot about that guy.
And Canna Queen's driving and she realizes she's in the wrong lane to she needs to be turning. And this man rolls up in in a
Dusty
truck
ass
next to
old
us.
dude. You could probably touch him and he would just dust. Like he was old.
He's like, I gave him the what's up nod, just because I'm in a car and I can.
And he made eye contact.
And he says, roll your window down. And it's already a part way down where I can hear you, bitch. I can already hear you enough for you to be like, roll your window down. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, I was going to tell you a way to get to the convention center quicker. Like, well,
We didn't ask you.
Got this here. She's got it handled, and he like gunned it and like pulled his truck forward and was like,
why are you mad when women say no to you?
Sorry, we're not going to follow you down an alleyway,
not
sir.
Sorry. We're not getting trafficked today.
Not getting trafficked today. So yeah, that leads to Las Vegas. We had an amazing time at the convention. We didn't get to talk much about it other than it was overwhelming for me.
Super overwhelming.
We, just outside of the overwhelmingness of it, you're supposed to register for parties, because most of them are first come, first serve. They want to, whatever. You're supposed to register for parties and RSVP, I guess, if you want to call it that. But anyway, so we registered for the High Times party. We read in there that there was going to be some performers there that and we're like, okay.
I'm not
nothing panned out for. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not a celebrity freak. Like if I meet a celebrity, unless they're like
music.
and it's music celebrity. So I love music, but I'm not a celebrity freak. Like I feel like you're a normal person. I did cry a little bit when I met Sue Sisley, and I cried when I met Steve D'Angelo. But those are celebrities within our community, and they've really changed my life and my career with the research that they've done and the activism that they've done. And so I follow them a lot. So that was very overwhelming for me. But like, I could prove me wrong, but I don't really feel like I'm going to cry when I meet Snoop Dogg. Cause we're friends. He's a normal motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he's a celebrity. Yeah. The older you get, the more you realize that some of your friends just have jobs where they make more money than you. And some of them don't have jobs where they make more money than you. And you're somewhere in there with your group of friends. And so like, being a celebrity is like really, it's like a job. They got to fucking work hard to get gigs and get on TV, like especially until they're top notch and people are asking for them.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's still a hustle, just in a different way.
So to preface this, I do get very excited about music, but I don't get very excited about celebrities, like in general. So I was like, if these people are going to be there and we miss this party, it's no big deal to me because it's like, whatever, we're meant to meet who we're meant to meet or see who we're meant to see. Go ahead.
And so with that, nothing else was, our plans. We were just like, okay, what are we doing? And so we were like, okay, we're just going to go early. It says get there early because you could not make it in the door or whatnot.
Because so we also thought we had another party before that party. So that's why we weren't sure if we were going.
Plans were changing. Yeah, everything was, we were staying fluid. I think we dealt with it well.
I do too. And there were strippers in the street. I mean, it was great.
It was a lovely time.
A great night.
We show up early. We make our way to the balcony. We meet people that we were supposed to meet that we didn't know we were supposed to meet just by simply being like, hey, can we stand next to you?
We met, who did we meet from Missouri? Who was it? We got to reach out to him actually too. We would love to get him on the show. What's his name? Nick. From Missouri, from Dab Stars, Nick. That's who it was.
And so, and we just like sallied up to a couple of guys that were, and we're like, can we sneak in right here? So we're not like out here. And they're like, yep. And so, yeah. And from there we went to the dance floor. We were the only ones on the dance floor, right in the middle of it. In the front. We were like, we're saving our spot.
Forever, we were the only ones on the dance floor.
And
like
then, forever. We did have I remembered her name that night, and I probably could recall it in a second. But anyway, we had a girl join us. But at that point, I don't know, we walked away. Anyway.
Yeah, we walked away for just a minute to go smoke a blunt because we weren't smoking inside quite yet.
Yes. Fast forward to start with the DJ. DJ was out there, and then they brought on another DJ who immediately the other guy and his mood and was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And ended up being front row for Redman and Method Man.
It was amazing.
And front row.
Could see the sweat on Method Man's face.
If we wanted to do the reach out and
we could have touched.
Could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing. They were amazing. But I'm in love with Method Man. I mean, how could you not be? He's gorgeous.
It was great.
Y'all know he's in his 50s. Oof. That's the thing about celebrities.
Yes. I surround myself with people that love music. So I'm not great at choosing music, whatnot. I love everything. So I let people lead me to what they're listening to. And then, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't.
Today I cried in the shower to one of the albums that I listen to sometimes when I need to cry. So that's my relationship with music.
Exactly, right? So I have people send me playlists. When I was moving cross country, I had people, as goodbyes, I said, make me CDs with, playlists.
What y'all know about burning a CD? Actually, most of our fan base probably knows everything about burning CDs.
And so I had a good few. I lost a handful of them in a car accident because they were still in the disc player, so that sucked. But and I've even asked people, can you send me that playlist again? They're like, yeah, no.
Nah, I don't have it. I don't even remember what it was.
I don't even remember where I put it together at. Yeah, so that was a Vegas highlight.
It was. We were on mushrooms that night too.
That's what I was gonna say. The girl that we was kind of like hanging out with us, her friend worked for one of the sponsors of the show, and I was like, let's go get a blunt instead of being like, let's work and network.
I had no idea.
Like, yeah.
We were on mushrooms. We were partying for sure that night.
Sorry.
It was a full party. We were, so we got to see that. It was an amazing evening of Method Man and Redman. I realized in the videos that the sound was so much better than it was in person.
I think it's just because it was we were right there.
Exactly.
Back.
We were right in front of a speaker, and the reverb was crazy in my ears. Crazy. What y'all know exactly. We talked about doing cassette mixtapes the other day where you had to wait for the DJ to shut the fuck up and hope that they played your song that you requested 2 hours ago. And yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And yeah, so that was that was amazing. I feel like, yeah, I mean, these were semi-networking events, but also it was a whole concert. We're not working right now. We are at a concert.
And
what are you talking about?
Motherfucker.
I mean, we were fucking litty titty. So then we leave there and we're heading to our next party, which happens to be in the hangover suite at Caesar's Palace. So the suite that they were in when they fucked shit up, that's where we were. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. But before we got there, we were on the street. We went, you needed shoes.
Yeah, I chose to rock some amazing shoes, but they were not not meant for walking. They are just meant for wearing when you're sitting down, and so your pants rise just slightly enough to be like, wow, those are some amazing shoes. They are not meant for trekking around Vegas in.
But that's what we were doing.
But that's what I chose to do, and I rocked it up until we had to walk a lot to get to our next destination. And I was like, I cannot do it in these shoes. And if you don't want me walking barefoot, we should probably stop into the store.
Which meant I don't want to walk barefoot. So
I was also prepared to walk barefoot if we were not going to walk into the store. Anywho, I find flip-flops. I've got an amazing little pair of flip-flops that when you put them together, they put together the Las Vegas sign. So they're fun.
Adorable.
But while we're there, checking out the flip-flops, I did spot her when we walked in and was admiring her, and she crossed our path, and you were like, oh, hello. But there was this lovely girl in a Burberry type trench coat, fastened, and I knew that was her outfit. Like I knew she would, and
that was the outfit, you guys. There was nothing underneath that.
Amazing boots, amazing, beautiful boots. And she's running, she's standing in the middle of the market. It's essentially like a, whatever, convenience store market, tourist shop. Yes. And she has a little music box in her hand, and she's playing it, and she's got a little stuffy in her arms. And
she looks like she's gonna cry.
And so Canna Queen stops her and is just like, we love you, and your outfit is amazing. And so we start chatting with her, and she is just lovely.
Let me tell you, if you're in Vegas or really anywhere and dressed fabulously, when Canna Queen stops you in the street, it sounds something like this. Woo, Queen, what? Look at your outfit. You look amazing. So that's kind of how we met. Something to that effect.
Yeah. And so we interact for a few minutes. We both go our separate ways. And then we're walking down the street, and I'm going to let you take this part over
and these beautiful, beautiful young men, dressed in nearly nothing, approach us, as is their job. They work for Chippendales. They are luring women in to take pictures with them and then pay for those pictures. And guess what? They won a client that day. So remember now, we are stoned, and we're taking a little journey. We're on a journey. And so we're on our way to the next party, and we do all the things, and we're stopped by the Chippendales. And this little man, like I looked at him and I go, how old are you? And he said 26. I was like, your mother would hate me for this. I just like, what? He was beautiful, y'all. Y'all are raising beautiful young men out there. I was just contributing to his college fund. It's all I was doing. That's what I did. So we're taking pictures. They're great. We're having a great time. We're posing with them, whatever. I'm grabbing his ass. He told me to do it. It was consensual.
It was consensual. Yeah.
1000% consensual touching. They didn't touch us like literally at all, except like maybe like on an arm or what, like they were like totally, not, hands off. And, so they were totally hands off. And, so then
not body off though, but hands off.
No, my God. So they were beautiful. So I'm gonna show y'all. So then she walks by. Christina, is that her name? It's in my head as Christina. So she walks by, and they're trying to and I was like, yo, that's our friend. So we get her in our pictures. All three of us were posing in these pictures with these two beautiful young men. And I bought one, and they gave me the other one for free. So we sent Christina home with a memento of us too. I don't know if she'll ever figure out where to find us or who we are, but we did. I think that's her name. And if I'm wrong, then I'll apologize
Christine
later.
Or Christina. And I I think I gave her one of our Queen Kitty cards.
Okay, so maybe she'll find us one
So
day.
I hope she finds us.
So you guys, this is the picture we chose. We chose the one with our new friend in it. As you can see, let's see, make sure I'm in the middle. Okay, so as you can see, I am very into everything that's happening here. I am extremely happy. Look at me. I'm like thrilled. This was my favorite Chippendale of the evening. Then the girl in the middle is our new friend. As you can see, she's wearing this gorgeous Burberry jacket, but also it's a bra and panties under there. It's nothing else. And then this other relatively gorgeous young man, I would argue, takes second place in anyways, but he's, beautiful. And then there's MJ just being super innocent over there. Like, look at me. Look at me. And then MJ's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it. So, and then
Twice I was called out as the naughty one. I was like, yeah. Well,
I mean,
you gotta catch the right side, but
I will be honest, she is a Gemini, and I've never had an experience in that realm with a woman Gemini, but I have with a man Gemini, and he was like super boring in real life, but like, which you're not, but also like surprisingly not boring. It was like Superman Clark Kent. I had no idea. I was like, whoa.
I haven't been told that. Like, whoa, not what I was expecting.
Unexpected.
Like,
yeah,
surprise!
It's because that other personality pops through. So yeah, we did the Chippendales thing, and then we headed over to Caesar's Palace, and we went to the Hangover Suite, and we met some people there too. I mean, some really interesting people.
So that was hosted by the Highly Connected app.
Highly recommended Highly Connected app, because it will connect you with other cannabis entrepreneurs, but also other people that are doing other things like photography, brand ambassadors. So they're just like contracted brand ambassadors, and if you call them and you need them to work a show or something like that, they'll come do it. And they're all over the nation. So it's not just in Denver or in Vegas or whatever. You can find these individuals working all over the US, and I don't know, there could be some international stuff too, but definitely all over the US.
So the Highly Connected app and the THC girls. So those are the best ways to find them on social medias.
Krista and Sanja.
Yeah, they were we did our Best Buds program with them, and again, highly recommend. So check it out if y'all are if anyone is looking to grow your business. They definitely helped us build some numbers as far as like things to just put into play, and
simple things that we just needed to have. Like that, we kind of we had all of the stuff scattered all over, and they're like, no, put it all here. And simple shit like that.
They took what we had and helped us organize that. They helped us to think about what's the next level for us. So that's exempt, but they're your best buds. They walk you through what you need, and so we're looking forward to future workings with them.
Agreed. Commercial break.
Yeah, let's do some commercials, and then don't sit like that.
Let's do some commercials and then throw our back out, like
and hit some headlines.
Okay.
We've done good. We didn't even bring up the holidays yet.
Oh my god.
Maybe we won't even have to deal with that.
Just can't.
Commercials. I've got them up. I can brought to you by let's start with CQLLC. I cannot click the screens because I am on my phone doing that.
I'll do that.
But CQLLC here for your responsible vendor training in Colorado. They Canna Queen, your educator extraordinaire. So making the boring bullshit that you have to learn as a delivery handler kind of business and hospitality. So if you're in the hospitality sector of the cannabis industry in Colorado, you must take these classes. If you are an employee in the industry and handling the plant, it behooves you to have this certification as part of your badge. So
Yes.
responsible vendor training offered by CQLLC along with other industry consulting. So if you are having issues with your dispensary from front end to back end, we can come in, do a 15-minute consult, and then tailor a program to your needs to make those things better. Both of us have been in the industry for, oh God,
Over a decade
yeah,
is all I know.
yeah,
I stopped counting
combined
after
even
that.
more. Yeah, right. That's the marker, right? And have seen it from all sides. So available for your consulting needs. CQLLC, 970-426-5985.
Yep.
I cannot read right now, especially on that small screen.
970-426-5985.
Or CQ-LLC.com.
Yes. Also brought to you by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer is going to take you to all of our links, including our website, which we just got up. And since the website is up and it's all working order, you can now order cans. You can order cans from our website. The only places we cannot ship to, Hawaii, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Mississippi. Those are the only places that we cannot ship to. Otherwise, we can ship to you. We have 8+ and I think 16+ packages available. You can't order less than 8 because it doesn't make sense with the shipping. And we are working.
You can, but you will pay for the shipping regardless. So
yeah, you're going to pay for the shipping regardless.
So yeah, it says 4 to 8. We're just giving you that option. But
yeah, I would say order 8 so that the shipping is a little bit more easy to swallow. And we're working on other shipping options, but that's the one we have right now. And we wanted to make them available to you. So if you would like to get your Queen Kitty Seltzer, go ahead and go online, www.queenkittyseltzer.com, and order yours today. We are sold out of bubblegum right now, but we do have Lemon Kiss and Nearly Naked in the old school labels. So you can still get those old school labels.
Email us your bubblegum requests and we can build up an order.
We are working on, or we could at least email you back when we're back in stock. We are working on Florida. We've been having meetings, so but we can ship to Florida, so we will ship it to you.
Because then I'll be there for Christmas. I will.
So if you want to like pre-order with her, and then just pre-order with her,
then you don't have to pay shipping unless you're gonna pay for some gas.
Yeah. That way you can.
Because I will be driving out. So. www.queenkittyseltzer.com is also where you can get some gear.
Yes.
We've got merch and other things available. That's our sweet little bomber jacket, or what do they call this?
It's a hoodie. This one's the hoodie.
Oh, this one's a hoodie. There are other things, koozies, cups. I don't think I did a keychain, but there is a holiday ornament.
There's an ornament. Yeah.
There are other things you can gift to other people. There's a kimono robe, which is lovely. We've got some pictures. We're going to start posting some stuff as soon as I can figure out on the website. We'll get some lifestyle shots up there too. But follow our socials and you can check out some of the gear there.
Yep.
There's socks. There's joggers. There's, I think I just added a sweet pair of leggings. So yeah, check it out. Thank you to those that have placed your orders, and we hope that you'll post some pictures of those things too.
Tag us.
I got to check in on Nia and see how her order went.
Yes. Should have arrived. When I say we, I mean me. I will be down in Durango December 11th, probably, for a few days before I come back up and prepare for my mother to visit me for the holidays.
We are not frozen, y'all. That was a moment of silence
for me.
For Canna Queen.
I love my mama, but sometimes, y'all, mamas are hard. And so it's fine, though. It's fine. I'm excited to have her, actually. I'm super, super stoked to see her, show her around the house. I hope she doesn't fall down my stairs. I don't want to get a murder charge over Christmas holiday.
It's not murder.
I mean, hopefully they prove that it's not.
Yeah, you're just joking, and you better say that on camera right now, bitch.
Just kidding. One time before we get into headlines, let me just tell you the story. One time, okay, it was during COVID, you guys. I lost my whole mind on this day. I definitely I was so angry by the time this day was over. She needed a ride to Grand Junction from Durango, and that's like 4 hours. So she had to be at her appointment at like 9:30. That's what she told me. That's what time we was going to be there. We leave at like 4 in the fucking morning. I swear to God. We left so early. I was like, why, Lord? Anyway, so we drive to go there. But at some point along the drive, while it was still dark outside, I had to go to the bathroom, but there was no gas stations open on our route. And so I pulled over and I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything about it. I just pulled over. I pulled over my car, and then I opened the back door so that cars coming couldn't see my shiny ass. And then I squat down beside the passenger side door. And when I got back in the car, I kid you not, she looked at me and she was like, I didn't know if you were like pulling over to like kill me and leave me in the woods. And I was like, now why would I do that right now when you're expected somewhere? That's a dumb plan. She was expected at her doctor's appointment. She never made it. Like, what? We did make it to that doctor's appointment. She got there. Now, remember, she's going to, I haven't said this, but she's 75. She's probably 73 at the time, 70. Anyways, she's 70s. She is walking with a fucking cane very slowly and very poorly. She got in the office at like 9:40 maybe or something. Anyways, it wasn't very far after. They canceled her appointment knowing she was coming from Durango, that she was coming there to get an assessment about her mobility, y'all. And they canceled her appointment. We called them and told them we were on the way, that we were going to be there. They canceled her appointment. They fucking told her to reschedule her appointment. They said, well, we have another one in 5 hours. I was like, everybody has COVID right now. Where are we supposed to go? We don't live here. You know that. Like, are you kidding right now? I was like, lady, I'm going to be real honest with you. We are both very lucky that I'm not inside that building right now. Like, I was just like, what are you talking about? Do you guys know when they rescheduled her appointment? They rescheduled her for a virtual fucking appointment. Do you understand why people go crazy in this world? Do you understand?
Just the fact that like the length of it wasn't even discussed to begin with when the appointment, I don't know, I'm sure it was a digital appointment or whatever, but I mean, you just experience the same thing with your badge. So I mean, can you really expect anything less from government?
No, y'all know I'm not getting paid right now.
Although the Social Security or the Secretary of State office seems to run pretty like getting my notary and stuff, even though I was like expired by and there was all these issues, like I had someone on the phone within 10 seconds, like I shoved some food in my mouth and like thinking I had time to be on hold, and immediately someone was like, hey, blah blah this, I was like spitting my food out, like here's my issue, oh boop 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 boop, done. I'm like, if I were calling the CDPHE line for my cannabis card, I'd be all like,
it's never like that. They don't even know the answers to their own questions. Like, I don't, like they they don't know the answers to their own regulations. And like you could call them and ask them a question about interpretation, and they will not answer it for you. They will not tell you how it's going to be enforced or anything like that. You have no fucking idea. And then they'll come and enforce it anyway, even though they've not given you any guidance on how you're supposed to run these things. And like that shit, right? Like that was crazy to me. I am actually not getting paid right now because even though I don't touch the plant, I have to have a badge, which I think is money gouging of people who are like, I'm in sales. I don't ever touch the plant. I don't take samples anywhere. I don't do anything that requires me to touch the plant.
The whole idea of having to have a badge to work in the industry is just ridiculous
bullshit.
At this point. It's bullshit. They are not.
You could get a background check
You're not even required to do. Your background check. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, you know what? The company can send you out for a background check. They can do that and have that in your file.
Yeah. No worries. And I don't.
And that process is $20 fucking. That process to get your background check is $20 fucking. Or, okay, here's what just happened to me too. So I made an appointment for fingerprints and I made an appointment for my badge because I can't get paid without having my badge. So I made those appointments. They call me and or email me or whatever, and they say this is the appointment you need. And also, if you get fingerprints outside of this office, it can take another 5 to 6 weeks to process your paperwork. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, but you can get fingerprinting here. You just have to pay us for it. $40. Double.
It's just it's a racket. It's a racket. If anything, that needs to change. Like, why do I have to pay to work in the industry that y'all don't regulate to the point where I'm required to take any kind of class or anything to touch that plant to handle it? With that badge, it's not included.
You also don't regulate.
I get a plastic piece of card with my name on it, not even my photo anymore.
No, they're doing photos again. They're doing photos again. They said you can make a badge only appointment where you could come in and get your photo done. Why? But here's the other thing, you guys. My company is going to reimburse me for this. In most companies, you have to pay out of pocket for that badge. If you don't have it, they won't hire you. And they are not required to pay you a living wage. So not only are you required to have this piece of plastic around your neck in order to work in the industry, they are not required to pay for it, and they are not required to pay you a living wage. And you're not getting any, you're just getting on the job training. You're not getting any additional training. You're not required to take any classes, except for now they have the RBT in Colorado and in some states, but in most states, you're not required to take any classes. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And then the fact that you have the audacity to pay somebody $13 an hour when they're required to pay $105 initially and $80 every year or every 2 years after that in order to maintain their badge. And you're paying them $13 an hour and are not giving them raises. It is absolutely asinine to me that these are requirements. And then that's why the average person is never going to make any money in the regulated industry. Unless you have money to get a license in the regulated industry, you're just not going to make any money in the regulated industry. You're going to have to go ancillary to do that.
Here's the thing. Okay, this is kind of like hitting on a headline, is that, we get these headlines all the time. New York set to make $300 million, Rhode Island set to and this market hitting this many in sales. It's just like, everyone thinks of the cannabis industry and, oh, you work in the cannabis industry and you must have millions of dollars and you must be making it. And they just don't realize that these, big ass corporations that come in, again, don't give a two shits about your local community, but yet we're so willing to sell out to these MSOs as, that we're not even willing to protect or even start with the, at least these other states, at least Colorado, you had a little awesome, nest of hardcore people that have kept their dispensaries as they are, but everyone else falling to the wayside or
And
have
there's no
to.
worker protections. There's no
No,
worker
yeah,
protections
nope.
in cannabis. You're not protected from wage gouging. You're not protected in the workplace. You're not like it's literally there's no worker protections. But
And
we're
so
required to spend money to work in the industry. It's absolutely ridiculous.
and so those hopefully we'll start to see changes like that as we see progression with what's going on. I mean, more and more it is the second, kind of not touching the plant, but the processing parts of it, and that aren't necessarily to do with the products, but how things are being manufactured that are leading to uh, you know looking at what processes are, how testing, and it is getting more. you know we just touch on the very basics of it, and if you don't, that's another thing at BizCon, is just seeing all these ancillary mechanical, electrical, that it just
It is
it's
crazy.
mind blowing. It's advancements, but also it's like, where does the plant fit into this, other than just being like, oh, no more smell of it, no more of this of it? It's like, isn't that what can
Just
we?
taking her all away, just like disappearing her altogether.
So then my question is, can't we just be like, it's not a problem that this has a smell and an odor? I mean, you can, the Purina dog chow factory can reach to high heaven and pollute the
So
air and,
gross.
be disgusting as all get out wherever they are.
Have y'all ever had
But
a paper factory in your town? A paper mill in your town? It smells straight like shit. There's a paper mill in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and it smells straight like shit. Every time you drive by it, it's the worst smell in the whole world. Not in the whole world, but it's pretty bad.
Factories. Yeah, factories.
Factories.
Yeah, you would think that if you're asking people to, I don't know, I have that different go between.
This is the difference too. Here's the difference right here. Most licensed professionals, like nurses and things of that nature, they get recompensated for their license, like for making sure their license is up to date, or for classes that they have to take to stay, because like lawyers and doctors and many other professions have to take like 2 or 3 or 4 classes every year, so many credit hours every year. They can pick the subject. It has to be kind of in their profession, of course, but they can pick the subject matter of what they want to go check out or whatever, but they have to continue their education through seminars and talks and things like that. And if they don't own their own business, they get compensated for those things, for maintaining their license. They get compensated for that. And not in cannabis, not in most places. My company is going to compensate me for that, but that's a different conversation. But anyways, but yeah, it's frustrating. Money out, no money in.
They talk about regulatory setbacks. That means more money. That means, oh, we need you to go get this testing done, or we need you to go file this paperwork with a fee, and oh, sorry, we're going to delay your license.
We're going to do everything in our power to make you broke before you can even open, so that you don't even exist. Well, we took your money. We gave you the program that you asked us for. We gave you a program to work in. We took your money and you failed. Sorry, you failed. No, we don't talk about the fact that they drag their feet on creating regulation, or they set those dates back, like you were saying. They set them back so that now, instead of getting our license in September, we're getting it now in November. Well, that fucking means that there's more months where I'm not making any money, but I have to put money out for rent, if I have top level employees that I want to maintain, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. I like to, it's like, oh, expected to $80 million within the first year of sales. It's like, that's great. But where is it going to? Taxes to back it. I mean, I know operations are, hella, but what, I don't know. I just hate these headlines and these like
Yeah,
the kind of stuff. So, but that is what's hitting with a few people, going online with adult use and whatnot.
right.
This one particularly, Rhode Island, is set to launch, and you know, but then we, run into this Washington, 10 years after legalization. So these are all MJ Biz Daily articles that I'm pulling from. You can certainly check out their website. We get little emails from them. So that's how we kind of just jump on and whatnot. So this was a kind of a headline. And, Washington State, they legalized adult use 10 years ago. And the issues that they still are coming up against 10 years later. And they kind of talk about interstate commerce and being, poised for that as well. Oh, do. I still have not turned that alarm back on. That, or I don't know. Doesn't.
I just noticed that our clock is getting close to an hour, so then I'm just like, it's close.
So in Washington, state, they're saying, this article by Bart Shaneman, a lack of access to capital, low wholesale prices, so small and craft cultivators are, oversupplied. And then there's still limited social equity opportunities for minority cannabis entrepreneurs. So this is 10 years later, y'all. When you're like, oh, just change it once you get it done. Well, this is some, a
This
state
is a
that's
decade
been
later,
very,
and they still don't have
yeah, and
minority
there's,
protections and good social equity program and minority ownership, and they still don't have it 10 years later.
they do say, this article, it's not to say that the market hasn't done what it's meant to do, but
Oh no, it's done what it's meant to do. It's the feature, not the flaw, that some of these individuals are going to continually be left behind.
right. This is a quote. I'm going to go ahead and just read this. And kind of when we talk about normalization or, okay, where we want to destigmatize. So this is a quote from Jessica Tornani, CEO of a Seattle-based cannabis company. Anyway, in 10 years, we went from medical patients being afraid they would lose their house because their neighbors would call the police on them, medical patients, to now soccer moms serving cannabis at cocktail parties. And is this good or bad? So we have come an extremely long way.
Yeah.
Yes, but no. Yes, because okay, great, that's great. A soccer mom can have her cannabis cocktail party, but
Wait,
medical patients are still struggling to get access to.
whose soccer mom can do this? Whose soccer mom? Because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these articles,
I
I
know we
know
have
I
moms.
always bring it up. There, when I think of the soccer mom that they're talking about in this article, they're always white women. It's a white woman who's serving, like, give me a break right now, because people of color are still encountering police interaction over this plant in legal states. So while, Susie Homemaker in uppity whatever neighborhood she lives in is over here serving cannabis cocktails to her friends and woohoo brunch, that sounds fun. We have other people that are suffering still and getting arrested for having a joint in their pocket, even though maybe not a joint these days, maybe more, but still, it's just like getting
Still, in some
arrested over
places.
cannabis crimes, over non-violent cannabis crimes, being put in jail, being ripped away from their families over non-violent cannabis crimes, because why? Because they didn't give their money to the state to register their grow. Because so Susie can serve these cannabis cocktails, but I can't have my grow in my basement without paying the government. Right.
So that's, yep.
Because Susie's following the rules. She got her weed from the dispensary down the street. She paid her taxes. So we're good.
let's see. It goes on to talk about craft growers being affected, being that there's just an overage of flour, available, that, only they can only sell so much through the means that they're allowed to sell it through. So when they have these bumper harvests, which this season that they did, in Washington State, that, then people are trying to give it away, prices, and this multi-million-dollar market isn't going to the cultivators.
The cultivators are not getting paid, y'all. They're not getting paid. The people who are growing your medicine are starting to get blurry, and if they've worked in the industry for any amount of time, they're being jaded right now, and it's sad because it's taking their passion away. And the fact that, like, this is a interstate commerce situation too, right? Because honestly, if we could get cannabis flower into spaces where the program is just starting, and they are not producing enough for their population, then we could get that shipped over. But because we don't have any interstate commerce because of federal illegality, then we're stuck sitting with one state with an overabundance of something that another state could absolutely take advantage of if that were allowed.
Yep. They do have they're trying to, let's see, it says, it says for several years, the state has been weighing whether to allow small cannabis farmers to sell directly to consumers, similar to how wineries and breweries are allowed to operate.
Why wouldn't you? You got to come up with another way to move this product.
Right. So that, because that's what they're, it's like they have this amazing product and nowhere to go, no outlet for it.
Right.
And yeah, so they're, hopefully, but again, when we're talking about, hey, you can change things really quickly, y'all.
You can't.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of money that, from someone to make movements move, no matter how you look at that when you're wanting to make change. And so, yeah, but you have to start with the right conversation first, and saying, wait, if we're gonna fight this fight, we gotta do it right.
Yeah.
Other hurdles regarding cultivation and challenges, state regulators, but so quickly the state regulators can change rules about canopy usage, which forces the growers to alter their cultivation plans, which again alters their financial capabilities.
Yeah.
And again, that's the other thing, is like when we're talking about things in favor of what is helpful for us versus what is helpful to the state, you'll definitely see those those movements quick. They have their adult use tax is the highest in the United States at 37%.
Jesus Christ. What state is this again?
This is Washington State.
Oh, Jesus. We're still in Washington State.
Yeah.
37%.
So not only can they not move the product, it's so expensive that it's not going to move on top of that. So, like I bitch about having, to when I have to pop into
37.
Mm-hmm.
What this reminds me of? It reminds me of Clerks. If y'all know what the reference is. 37.
Mm-hmm.
37.
The average, okay, so including the excise tax and state and local, it comes up to 46.2%.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Why would anybody buy from a dispensary?
Nope.
Shut
And
the fuck up. Oh, we want to
it's
end
just
our underground market. We want to end, they call it the black market. I won't allow it. I just
illicit.
won't
They
allow
say,
them.
yeah, it does. Here it says, which again pushes consumers to an illicit market.
It does.
That and
No,
then
it's not
again,
illicit.
and then we're full circle with regulations in regard to
You're gonna regulate
possessing,
the underground
growing,
market now?
like
Like,
that's
you guys, first of all, I just want to point out that when they say illicit market, they're talking about the underground market. And when I say illicit market, I'm talking about those assholes that are selling you fake cartridges. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you
So
for the
underground
clarification.
growers, holler at my gromies out there, because y'all are the best and y'all keep this fucking industry alive, our communities alive. You keep people healthy. And so keep doing what you're doing. Be careful out there. We hope that you can come out from the underground at some point in time and really have a legitimate business of your own with this. But at this rate, just stay where you are. You know what I'm saying? Because like, why are we going to contribute to this bullshit? Like seriously, 46. You said 46.2%. What the in taxes? That's half. That's almost 50% in taxes. 46.2%. Y'all, I cannot even. That's insane to me. I did buy weed in Washington State. It was in 2018. I don't remember, but I want to say that it was pretty fucking expensive to get an eighth. But I was trying to experience, because we were doing this road trip across the country. I was trying to experience the different, options. 46.2%. That sounds crazy. There's no way I wouldn't have a plug. There's no way. The reason you can't move your shit is because we all got plugs, bro. The fuck, you're 46%.
Right. And then, but then these licensed growers, have, if they're supposed to just sit on their product. What do they do? They
What
have
do
to
they do with it?
Sell it at either rock bottom prices. And I don't know a lot about, what happens to, processing and whatnot, but,
I would say that's where I would send all my plant material is straight into processing. Cause at least
I guess so. Yeah. They're saying, again, access to capital is still a huge issue, because, specifically for Washington, by law, their business entrepreneurs, their owners must reside in Washington State for at least 6 months before obtaining a license. And I think they have to stay in residency. So that person that I met, which I still need to reach out to his friend that owns the dispensary in Washington State, he couldn't invest in it anymore because he didn't live there. He couldn't be, and so
no other what other business runs like this? Does the pharmaceutical industry run like this? Because I just don't feel like it does. I feel like they're limited, even though they have limitations. Instead, they don't have as many regulations as, like, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. But like, I feel like what other industry that grows plants, by the way, what other industry that grows plants is under the thumb like that? Like, I'm totally for testing. I'm good for that. Like, make sure there's no mold in my plant. I want to make sure it's a healthy plant. But I don't think I've ever gotten sick from anybody I trusted's methods. Like, if, there's certain people that I buy from time to time. And when I buy from them, I know that it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine because they have a method in a way and they care about their plants and they're on it 24/7. And honestly, I feel like there's a bigger chance that there's going to be contamination in these larger facilities.
Yeah, there's not as much oversight. They think that their big ass grow method is the best method. They don't have eyes on the plants like, everywhere like you should. Like, they're not touching it daily, and then those plants need to be touched daily. Like they feel things too.
Like, for me, I think that if this was my reality, if my reality was that I was the owner of a large cultivation, I would split my cultivation up into a bunch of boutique cultivations, and I would hire a head person and they could hire a team. Like, I want my head grower to also hire their own team because I want them to be able to work. And I want there to be cohesiveness in these spaces. So I would we want to have a basic technique, a same, like we all want to grow in dirt. Like I don't want, what I'm saying, like I don't want different methods, but I think that I would break my shit up into boutique, because then I know that my plants are getting the attention that they need. That costs more money, but I mean, that's what you're getting from your underground guy, from your plug girl, guy girl.
Yep. I mean, that's how, in the good old days, that's how, my friend's place.
So this is the problem too. Like this is where there's a conflict of interest right here, right? Because pharma companies do have regulations, but a lot of the former board members are now working for the FDA, who are the people who make those regulations for big pharma. What? So there's no oversight on that. And then look, big pharma kills millions. I mean,
and then they're going to take over our industry, and and we're not protecting our craft growers, our caregivers, our patients. We're not protecting the plant. There's, I don't know. It's I know people are out there fighting for it, and I just feel like we're
sometimes
all,
it's exhausting, because it really is a thing. Like I remember way back, like I say way back, like probably 10 or 12 years ago, I read an article, and it was an interview with Willie Nelson. And he said that the fight is not over. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically he was like, the fight's never going to be over, because when we get legalization, we are going to have to fight big cannabis. And big cannabis is going to come from big pharma, big tobacco, alcohol industry, and other industries too. I was telling you guys recently that a friend of mine is actively looking for opportunities, has almost 3 decades of experience with the plant, is one of my most trusted sources for getting plant material, and had an interview. The 3 head people over cultivation all came from soybean industry, all soybean farmers that just decided to grow a different plant. I mean, kudos to you for getting into the industry, but like, we can't get into the industry that we fought to create. We can't work in it because they're kicking us out.
They, just to wrap this article up, really, and it talks about, if they were to change that, where outside investment could be a component. Yes, is it for the better? Is it for the worst? Or the worst being that once it opens up for outside investment, huge amount of capital, pushing out products at lower margins, taking advantage of higher volumes, we lose that small business component again, right? Like, that we say we want to protect, that we want to help by allowing for investment to be made. But then those investments, and as we've seen it in many states, go from a company that cares to a company that cares to the company that slightly cares to not care as that license is moved from because there's no oversight or regulation on that. And maybe and Washington does say you have to be invested in this state to be a part of it, right? Okay, that's fair. But also, what if my cousin, that lives in Colorado wants to invest?
Right.
Does that, can they give it to me? Whatever. How does that become whatever?
Right. Like, we have an investor that's out of state. He's a small investor, but we have an investor that's out of state. And then we are also always on the hunt for like big money investors, because we do want to expand our business. So like, if they can't be from out of state, then they all have to be from within Colorado. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's difficult to maneuver in the space where you can only stay here. You can only stay here. You can't go over there where you're going to actually get the best deal on your investment too. So you're not like, and that also gives opportunity when people know that you can't go outside of the state for resources, then they can like gouge their prices up too. Not everybody does that, but some people do. Are you okay? Are you dying?
Yeah, no, like my leg is cramping up and I can't like get to a point where I'm like, oh, so I'm just gonna stand up. It, they did sign in 2019 their governor. Oh wait, no, this is Oregon. So when we talk about, oh, who does it better? We can do it better. Well, Oregon actually did sign in that, into law a bill that would permit the state to enter into agreements to export to other states.
Yeah, I remember when they did that.
Versus the opposite, y'all. Versus the opposite when like,
so,
oh well.
So what that means is, and then they're not, and the other thing is Oregon's not punished, is not going to, there's nothing in there that says that they're going to punish their citizens for doing the same thing as B2B can do. So if a citizen goes and gets cannabis somewhere and brings it back across the state line, assuming that it's federally legal to do that at that point. So they're preparing for federal legalization is what they're doing. They're making they're making this probably a correct assumption that with legalization of cannabis federally, that they are going to be able to participate in interstate commerce and ship cannabis to other states. So they put it into their regulations and into their documentation that we can do this. We can go and export and work with other companies that are not in the state of Oregon. They do not have, to my knowledge, anything about punishing their citizens once it's federally legal, of being able to do the same, to come back, go back and forth. And so that's
right. Purchase products, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem I see with that. If you're going to make a law or a regulation about a future potential possibility that punishes your, like, why are you doing, like, because we want to keep the money in the state, but then that allows the state to jack up the prices for the consumer, and then they got nowhere else to go. Just let them, if you got the best stuff, you got the best stuff. And plus you got people that are never going to leave the state. They're going to want to stay there and they're going to purchase there, but you really got to make it worth their while. Like, we're talking about how much the price of flour has gone down, but you don't see it in the dispensaries. You don't see that in the dispensaries at all. That's only when it's a B2B situation. In the dispensaries, we're not seeing, like Colorado being probably one of the exceptions, but we're not seeing a lower price eighths in a lot of these dispensaries, while the price of flour continues to plummet. We're not seeing that. We're paying for it. We're paying for the price of flour plummeting. We're paying for it in taxes. We're paying for it in just the cost of the flour for us, as opposed to the cost of what a wholesale company would, or a business would pay for it. So, yeah. And I think that's asinine too, because that's where this all started. Without the growers, without the flour, we got nothing. We got shit. What do we have? No concentrates. No. Well, I mean, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. If they fucking phase out flour, all you're going to be smoking and all you're going to be ingesting is scientifically created in a lab products. There's going to be zero products that are not created in a lab. That's where this is headed, because they can recreate these cannabinoids in structure. Just keep that in mind. I don't know how you feel about that. If it's the same structure and everything, I mean, maybe you're okay with it. But I think natural organisms work in your body differently than unnatural. Okay, that's just
lab created.
Yeah, that's just what I believe. That's what I believe. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's like, because that's a super unscientific approach to the whole thing. But like literally your body reacts differently when it comes from the earth and from natural. I'm anyway.
That's actually a really great question. As it really, if when we talk about, I think you mentioned it, and I don't know if it was an Israeli university or that
I talk about
recreated, no, the one that recreated a molecule with it just not using any plant matter, but it would.
I want to say that Dr. Raphael McCullum does a lot of that stuff but also creates synthetics for the purpose of testing what does this cannabinoid do, because the plant we haven't evolved the plant to where it's creating where it's creating enough of this cannabinoid to extract it and create something that is usable. And so in order to study the cannabinoids, sometimes synthetics are used in those studies because they are more available. There's more availability for that. And so that's a reason for doing it. And so my question is, actually, that's a very scientifically based thought process. Generally, what's natural is better than what's synthesized in molecules, and it's just because we're natural. We're organic organisms, and that just like we're not robots, right? And so, yeah, I mean, and some people, like when we talk about Delta 8 this way, some people are totally okay with it because it came from CBD and it was synthesized and turned into Delta 8. And some people are totally okay with that, as much as they're okay with the process of creating like live resin or shatter or other types of concentrates. And so, but I don't see those two things as being in the same, fruit basket, as far as like turning one cannabinoid into another cannabinoid through synthesizing and turning product into a concentrate through process. I don't see them as the same, but some people do make that comparison. And I don't know. I would prefer my products come from the plant. And that's kind of like where I've always stood on that. And I mean, I just hope that I'm not around, I guess, when we go out, when we lose all of the plant resource, when the plant resource is sourced out, where we have to hunt for boutiques who actually grow real plants.
I was like, I hope I'm dead by then.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be here for that. Like, I don't want to be here for that. Where everything's created in a lab, where your food is created in a lab, even your water is created in a lab. Like, that doesn't sound good to me. That sounds, it sounds like hell. That sounds like what hell would be like. And I feel like it's flavorless and white people run it for sure. What's the difference between shatter, wax, and crumbles? It's really a difference in the processing of it. I can't get super technical without like a dictionary in front of me, but it's got to do with like heat levels and what materials they use in the extraction process, and things of that nature. So we could definitely get into that on a show where we're a little bit more prepared to talk about it. But that's the biggest difference between when different types of concentrates. It's just like, what process were they pushed through? What materials were used in this process, etc. are how they differ. And then when we talk about live, anything live, means that what they did was they took that plant down. They did not dry it and they did not cure it. They froze it, flash freezing it. And then they process it, however, to get the different like sugar, sauce, things like that. You won't see like shatters in a live. I've never seen like a live shatter. or anything. They're usually some kind of sauce or sugar or something like that. And also, so I know that some growers do cure and I think this is the best way, because the taste is better, but they do cure the processed product. So once they've processed the product, they do a curing process as you would with the plant, like making sure that there's air circulation and not a lot of light. So keeping them in kind of in a dark space and kind of curing them as you would a plant, but to help pull those terpenes up to the surface so you can get a good flavor, because a lot of your live products are going to have really intense terpene flavor. And that's because of the flash freezing. It maintains those terpenes a little bit better than the other processes tend to do. Yeah. And then like there's differences, but some use some like nitrogen or CO2. BHO is still used, but it's not as popular as it used to. Man, we used to get some tar colored concentrate. It was dark. But you'll see like more amber colors or white. White is a very pure color. That means a lot of the unnecessary shit was pulled all the way out of that product. You got a really pure product with any kind of white concentrate, and a lot of those are live as well. So yeah, and then the flavor profiles on live products are just top notch, and some of them use heat and some of them do not use heat, and so there's a few differences in the process and how you get the different textures and how you get the different products and stuff. It's really interesting. I'd actually love that's the only kind of space that I've not worked in as a professional is an extraction space and a kitchen, I guess. But I would really love to work in a space like that, just to like obtain that knowledge and understand the different processes and how we get from here to here with the plant. I love that. Yeah, butane's been used a lot. You got to be really careful. You got to make sure that anything that's used in your product is like not in your product at the end of it. So, that's what BHO is. Again, be careful with, if you're making underground purchases, be careful with who's making your product, because if they're not doing the process right, then things that are not supposed to stay in the product might stay in the product, and that could be unhealthy. And so that's sometimes problematic. But if they have the right equipment and machinery to do the process that they intend to do, and they follow the instructions and they follow a step by step, a lot of your growers and your processors especially are very radio instruction type people. So they have a process that they follow step by step. It's probably written out somewhere, but they have it memorized by now. And when they learn things, they use that until it's stuck in their head, and they don't miss a beat. I've seen those types. I mean, I'm more of a go with the flow type, and I have worked in cultivation and can follow that if I have structure. But like definitely the people who I've seen like run these spaces really super successfully are driven by radio instruction type of learning and manual type of learning and expression. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just got on a tangent on that. I apologize. Have you? Have you heard of making wax with hair straightener? So you can make concentrate with, yeah, you can. You just have to have the right temperatures. You would want to have like the parchment paper. And what you would do is you could use flour, or you could use like hash that's like pulled from the flour. So like not the flour. Yeah, your sandbox. You can use your sandbox too. Yeah, you could definitely use your sandbox. So any of those crystals, any way that you can get those crystals, and then you would put it in between. It's a heat press. So they make these huge heat presses now that you can put a bunch in and like press, and then you'll see the videos where the parchment paper and then the yellow gooey coming out of there. That's what's happening. It's probably like in those types where you see a lot of it, that is already that's already concentrated material being turned into the type of concentrate that the way you're gonna use it is gonna be different. So it's probably like what she was saying, like sandbox material or something of that nature, like hash that you've pulled, and then you press that and it comes through like that. It's most likely sandbox because of the color of it, the amber, or the light yellow color of it. It's most likely sandbox. So,
dude,
you just
don't
buy your
say it.
own damn. Listen, I'm gonna need you to go out and buy your own hair press, or you go out and buy her a new and amazing one, and then you can use her old one. But like, seriously, don't use the one she uses for her
He's
hair.
a smart man.
Yeah, I know he is, but I'm saying this for everybody else that's listening as well, because y'all don't do that.
And that would be considered solventless. You're not using any solvents to pull those, any of that. So heat or ice.
And if you use plant material, or you use the hash that like that comes off of the plant material, like on your fingers when you're trimming or whatever, if you use that, it is going to be darker, but the same similar concept is applied. But yeah, using your sandbox material, you're probably going to get a yellowy or ambery color. Check on the internet to get proper temperatures for doing that. And make sure you use enough parchment paper and you have a place that gooey can go into, because you're gonna have to put it somewhere.
Parchment paper.
Yeah, just make sure that you prep your area and everything. It sounds like a great idea to do it with a hair straightener, but honestly, that could get kind of messy and kind of like, it's but on it, you could just do it on a whim maybe and try it out. I don't know, give it a shot, tell us how it goes. You could that's what's in your sandbox is the keef. That's what that is. So you could definitely use that in it, and like I said, it'll probably have like a light yellow or a light green tinge to it when it comes out as the gooey. But give it a shot, tell us how it goes and tell us how it tastes. You don't want to have too much heat, because too much heat is going to burn off your cannabinoids and some of your terpenes as well. Well, terpenes and cannabinoids are super volatile to heat. Terpenes more so than cannabinoids. So high heat can really burn a lot of those off. And you lose the medicinal value of some of that. So just be careful with your heat settings. Make sure your temperatures are right, etc. Give it a shot. Tell us how it goes.
Watch that video again. I don't know. I'd be like writing down the instructions.
I would. She's the radio instructions, right? She's the step-by-step. She works that way. And I honestly work that way too. If I can get the step-by-step written, then that's how I work too. But if I can't get it written, I will go with the flow. I will just get the job done,
just do it.
So that's how it's different. I just wanted to touch on, you guys know, fight for your rights, fight for your right to keep your voice, because like in Texas right now, they just passed on the ballot in 5 cities decriminalization. Now, right now, 3 of those cities are challenging those votes. The voters will. They're challenging it, threatening to repeal decriminalization, being like, oh, well, what if you put that the smell of marijuana is probable cause? Well, no, because decriminalization means that we don't have interactions with the police on nonviolent cannabis offenses. And so, no, that's not a reason to search my car. That's not a reason to pull me over. That's not a reason to stop me on the street. No police interaction for that reason. And that's not what we voted for. Like, that's literally not what we voted for. We're not okay. Like, they specifically pointed that out. So I feel like the law, like what they voted for specifically said that the smell of marijuana is not probable cause, or something to that effect, to make them say, hey, what if you put we weren't comfortable with that language. That's what they said. And I'm just like, no, but that's the language that we voted for, right? So go out and vote. Don't let them steal your voice. If they try to steal your voice, you gotta fight.
Stand back up. You gotta
fight.
say something. You gotta,
it's
get with
really
the groups
what it is
that are doing the fighting, like
donate to them at least,
and they'll tell you what to do.
Right.
They'll tell you what to do, or donate to help.
Donate your time or your money or your resources. I don't know. Donate to those organizations that are fighting to make sure that our voices are not only heard but not overturned. What's up? Hold on a second. Let me pull. Let's see here. What is it? Oh, here it is. What is the organization that is? They are called. Hold on just a second. Let me just see what this organization is called. Ground Game Texas. So their organization is called Ground Game Texas. I'm gonna ask you guys to write that down. Ground Game Texas. Go follow them on Facebook. See what they need. See if they they are working hard to make sure that the voters in Texas are heard. They went out and they voted and they said across the board, no, you cannot continue to put us in jail for this plan. They said, what's up? They said, we want this decriminalized in 5 cities in Texas. And Ground Game Texas is working really hard to make sure that those are not repealed or overturned or changed in ways that will hurt the citizens of these cities. I'll tell you that one city I think they've already started the process of repeal. And so Ground Game Texas is now going to have to put on the ballot that a repeal of the repeal. And that's going to be super fucking confusing. A repeal of the repeal? What did you just say to me? Like, that's going to be really confusing for the citizens of Texas. So we're going to continue to watch this story, really, because I think it's super important. I'm actually going to put on my list right now. I'm going to write it down, Ground Game Texas. I would actually like to reach out to them and get them on the show and see what they need from us, and see if there's anything that we can do to continue to support what they're doing and try to get make sure that the voices in Texas are not overturned because some people in the city council do not agree with them. That's not your job. You were hired to voice the will of the people. And when the will of the people say, this is what we want, that is what you are supposed to vote for. That is what you're supposed to enact. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's why we hired you.
And if you can't do your job, if you can't do your job, then it's time for you to be replaced. Like, that's, I don't know.
I can't. I'm going to tell you right now, if anybody's listening from Texas, I'm going to tell you right now, Greg Abbott, really, you hired him again? Really? You hired him again when you had Beto O'Rourke as an option?
Obviously, you've got cities that are trying to not do exactly this, to not, write it as it's intended.
Oh man, it was crazy to me that Beto O'Rourke didn't win that, but I think everybody knew it was coming too. But I was like, my mind, I was like, what? Because he was gonna decriminalize cannabis across Texas, but he also was first of all, he was out there to protect Texas. And I don't understand how you just rehired somebody that let something as bad as what happened in Texas happen and not hold anybody accountable for the way that they proceeded with that and let those little babies perish. And we already gave you guys our trigger warning. So I can't even believe you rehired that person that's not going to hold the police accountable for the way that they behaved in that situation. I can't even, and not do anything about it, to change anything, to not even try to change anything, to just stand on these fucking talking points and not care about people and not care about children. And anyways, that's my rant. Okay. I'm sorry.
Lady's here to let me know that it's 6 o'clock.
It is 6 o'clock. It's actually
on the friggin' dot. Oh shit.
6
oh shit. Okay. Sorry. My drinks almost went down. Yeah.
I didn't say the thing that I usually say when we do our advertisements, so I forgot to tell you guys to pop this kitty and put it in your mouth. But as always, Queen Kitty Seltzer does sponsor this show. We are our own sponsors. We would love some more. If you guys want to work with us on sponsorship, give us a call. So Queen Kitty Seltzer, check out our website. You can go to our solo link and find our website there, which is what we have up here. But you can also go to queenkittyseltzer.com, and the drinks are up and the apparel is up, and you can support us. If you want to purchase through there, you can support us by sharing our links. You can support us by rocking our gear. If you get any of our gear, Christmas is just around the corner. I'm going to tell you guys right now, are we having any sales? Absolutely, we're not. We're not. You know why? Because we just started this business in March and we just can't afford it right now. But we're doing the best we can to keep the prices as low as we can right now. We're looking for options to get them lower every single day. And we're also looking at other product options that we can provide for you because we are working towards a lifestyle brand. So we're going to have other products, hopefully in the relative near future, that we're going to be able to provide for you. And yes, thank you for the follow on Instagram. You can find all of our links on solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer, including our website. And like I said, you can go there and you can purchase cans, except in Hawaii, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Dakota, and Mississippi. Those are the only places we cannot ship to. We will not ship to. And if you don't understand why, look up Tommy Chong, Pennsylvania, and bongs, because literally he went to jail for that, to prison for that, because there was a law against shipping bongs into Pennsylvania before they legalized. And Tommy Chong went to prison because somebody harassed him. And finally he gave in and was like, fuck it, just send this guy this thing. He went to prison. You guys. I'm not going to prison for none of y'all. So I will not ship to any of those states. I don't care. Harass me if you'd like. But it's not going to happen. With that said,
vote and change the law in your state so we can send it in.
Vote. We love you guys. Be nice to yourself. Put your mask on before assisting others. I'm listening to my own self today.
Cultivate love. Bring it to you. You deserve it.
And of course, as always, stay lifted. I'm gonna like this little bitty piece of a joint.
I know. Stay lifted, y'all.
We love y'all. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out. See you guys on Monday.